Channel 1.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, Chan is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
Now tonight we bring you stories that move with rhythm, heart and whole lot of fire. Feel the fusion of Jambaka Live with Brand Sigu alongside Kavi Rondo Blues Band. Step into the art of Dance Live Festival where every move told a story. Sit down with Ohangla man himself, Makadem, as he plugs in Luo roots into global beats. And finally, a ride with the soulful wave of Okello Max.
Ninaota ama niko sangu?
Unataka kulia?
Mazibu na jibu wa mama kaji.
Hiyo mbele radio.
Mbona wewe uko hoi?
Kukango na tomoshina. Tani kusho.
Mimi party, sasa lazima niwaonyeshe.
Pali nafike na kuwa mengi sumu.
Hii nini?
Ilikuwa hapa ndio ilikuwa imepotea.
Mama Kayai.
Wewe?
Kwenda huko bwana. Wewe shughulika yako wewe mama wewe.
Wewe inaonekana hauelewi ile kitu ilikuleta hapa.
Mimi ndio boss hapa siku ya leo. Wewe sikaa kwa kiti na mimi.
You have the nerve to show yourself here after you almost died in the hands of my dad.
Welcome for breakfast.
Can't you just trust me? The only way I can trust you, Jill, is if you start becoming real for real.
Inaonekana mzee unajua Kiswahili. Yaliyopita tukibizane na nayokuja.
I don't need your compliments.
You're going to believe all of a sudden she flew away.
You're not sure of your job?
Friday night again.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Now, hello and a very warm welcome to Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1, live from the broadcasting house in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. My name is Giverson, Maina. And start interacting with us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, and of course KBC Channel 1 on Facebook, and Giverson Maina at X. Now let's go straight to news. The government has issued a strong warning to contractors and civil servants leveraging on political connections to secure public contracts, vowing to crack down on individuals undermining service delivery through conflict of interest and procurement interference. Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of delivery and government efficiency, Eliud Owalo, said the government is increasingly concerned about project delays caused by contractors who appear to be what he termed as untouchable due to political or internal government links. He added that the government will not tolerate contractors hiding behind a political patronage to deliver substandard or incomplete work.
Much as possible local produce. So it will also be a ready market for those who are in the juakali industry. The contractors have got firm instructions to ensure that where necessary, they procure materials from the locals and also acquire labor from the local communities. We are now here at the Bumala Strategic Market. This is one of the markets that the national government, in partnership with the county government, is rolling out all over the country to support our mothers and sisters who are working as itinerary traders and are domiciled at the bottom of the economic pyramid. You remember that in our Kenya Kwanza plan, we did promise that our plan will be bottom up. And this is one example of the interventions the national government has rolled out to support those domiciled at the bottom of the economic pyramid.
Now, local leaders, members of the Luo Council of Elders and family gathered at the village home of the late Dr. Phoebe Muga, a CEO in Wikondiek in Homa Bay County, to officially mourn and honor her in line with the Luo cultural traditions. Dr. CEO, the first female member of parliament for Karachuonyo, was eulogized as a pioneer of women's leadership in the region. Homa Bay Governor Gladys Owanga led the tributes, describing her as a trailblazer who paved the way for women in politics.
Pesa zinasaidia watu wetu. Vijana wetu ambao wanaishi Ulaya, ambao wanafanya kazi Ulaya, they have a responsibility of making sure that we have diaspora remittances. Ningependa kuambia mirengo tofauti ya siasa ya kwamba waheshimu tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka.
And now we go to still local leaders. The tributes, local leaders, members of the Luo Council of Elders and family gathered at the village home of late Dr. Phoebe Muga, a CEO in Wikondiek, Homa Bay County, to officially mourn her.
That she made while she was member of parliament. Maendeleo ya wanawake was a giant. Is a giant women's movement that she led. So we've lost a matriarch, we've lost a trailblazer, we've lost a patriot, we've lost a peacemaker.
She loved peace, she loved development. These are very cardinal issues one needs to be a good leader. She was having these traits, she was having these qualities. I remember for putting us together so that we can be a united.
Linda kimila ya Jaluo kamili. Kama yeye iko na maneno ila yeye na inaweza fanya.
Apologies for that mix-up in the stories. Kamega County Governor Fernandez Baraza has accused a former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua of trying to discourage Kenyans in the diaspora from remitting funds to their motherland. Speaking in Shinyalu, Baraza said diaspora remittances of the country department. At the same time, he urged politicians to respect the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and allow the new chairperson and commissions to perform their duties without fear or favor.
Ulaya unasema ya kwamba pesa aziziletwe hapa, and yet hizo pesa zinasaidia watu wetu. Vijana wetu ambao wanaishi Ulaya, ambao wanafanya kazi Ulaya, they have a responsibility to ensure that we have diaspora remittances. Ningependa kuambia mirengo tofauti ya siasa ya kwamba waheshimu tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka. Wapatiane nafasi kwa kiongozi makamishna wetu wa IBC wakiongozwa na ndugu yangu Daktari Erastus Ethekon. Yeye kama mwenyekiti wa IBC wapewe muda ili wapange mambo ya uchaguzi mdogo ambao tunatarajia.
Now, away from that, expectant mothers in Kwale County have been urged to seek early obstetric natal clinics to help prevent death and bleeding, which has been identified as one of the maternal deaths. During a community sensitization program held in Mgombezi area in Lunga Lunga, courtesy of the Fanikisha Foundation, health workers emphasized the importance of attending antenatal clinics regularly to reduce maternal and child mortality.
Umuhimu wa kwa nini mama aanze kliniki mapema na aweze kutimiza mara 8 za kuja kliniki. Ni mambo mengi sana na uchunguzi ambao utaweza kuangaziwa, hali ya damu kidogo, funzo, na hata kama anahitaji kuongezwa damu, huko na huo muda mwafaka wa kuweza kuongezwa damu, kuelimishwa mambo ya lishe bora na aweze kuangaliwa. Waelezewe mambo ya danger signs.
Takwimu ya mwezi uliopita tulikuwa na vifo vya watoto 4 waliweza kufariki, ambapo 2 walikuwa wamekufa kwenye tumbo, alafu 2 wengine walikuwa wanacheza, alafu wakati wa kujifungua tukawapoteza. Tulikuwa na mama 4 wenye walijifungua na wakavuja damu baada ya kujifungua, lakini tukajitahidi tukaweza kudhibiti hiyo hali.
Now we take you to Kiambu County in Maguni Village in Thika, where Kenyans have been urged to exercise as a way to combat various diseases caused by lack of activity. The rallying call of Kilifi County by Patrick of the Hikers Club, a long-distance walking group which organizes various activities to combat various diseases and promote good health. Hikers Club members trekked more than 140 kilometers from Nyali in Mombasa County to Mambrui in Kilifi County under the theme Hikes and Long Walks for a Hospital-Free Lifestyle.
Avoid unnecessary hospital attendance and medicine. So when you hike, there are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of advantages. You also get to re-energize your body, you also get to adventure in all the country.
I'm always encouraging the youth and generally everyone, especially those who want to quit alcohol and substance abuse, join the fitness clubs.
Now that was Kilifi County and not Kiambu. Now we go straight to Kiambu now. Maguni Village in Thika, Kiambu County is experiencing a remarkable transformation following a 14 million donation from Rotary International. The support channel through the Rotary Club of Thika has helped improve food security, energy access and economic empowerment, with ripple effects being felt beyond the local children's center. Watoto Wenyu Nguvu Children's Center in Thika is now home to a modern greenhouse equipped with a full irrigation system, solar lighting and improved water infrastructure, including rehabilitated river and borehole pumps. The funding managed by Rotary Club of Thika has also supported the construction of animal shelters for pigs and poultry, enabling the center and the surrounding community to begin income-generating agricultural activities.
We have the borehole water pumping using solar, and with that we are able to renew the energy and use it. We are also using biogas, the waste from the cows, from the pigs, from the chicken. We put it together and we generate biogas, which we use it in our main kitchen and in some of the safe houses.
Tunauliza hizo organizations zingine, hata kampuni zingine waweze kukubali kuja kuempower community hivi, kwa sababu hata hao vijana wanagoma, jenzi wenye wanagoma juu ya kukosa ukosefu wa kazi na challenges zingine, lakini wakuwa engaged na program kama hizi. Na sasa zenyewe unapata makampuni hawezi kufanya kazi kwa sababu environment si mzuri ya kufanya biashara.
Mimi sikuwa na kazi na sina kazi. Sasa venye nimepewa kuku naenda kulea, hawa kuku nitauza, nitalea watoto na wao, nitawapea mayai, bado nitauza mayai, niendelee kupata fedha yenye nitalea watoto vizuri, nitawanunulia chenye wanataka na kuwapeleka shule.
Now I want to take you to Sarova Stanley Hotel, where Chief Justice Martha Koome is addressing on matters the unveiling of the Judiciary Committee on Elections and Operational Plan. Take a listen.
Electoral process and our democracy. Let me ask those who are the new members to be upstanding so that we can celebrate you and we can encourage you. Don't you think it is going to be doom and gloom? We will be there to support you. The new members, yes. We wish you well. So this event marks the official commencement of the judiciary's preparations for the 2027 electoral dispute resolution, that is the ENDL cycle. I extend profound appreciation to the outgoing JCE, whose work under the distinguished leadership of my brother, Mr. Justice Mohamed Ibrahim, has been nothing short of exemplary. It is under your stewardship the judiciary discharged its constitutional mandate during the 2022 election cycle with distinction. We kept to the timelines. Judiciary through a period of immense pressure with great organizational ability. The key milestones achieved during your tenure included digitization of EDR processes. That was not a mean achievement. It was really great to think of within a time frame that allowed us to adjudicate on those electoral disputes within the 6 months that is provided for in the Constitution. We had 314 pre-election disputes, and I thank the political party, the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, led by our chair. She is here, Honorable Desmond. And we also earned 2 post-election cases. So you also building training. What this entails, colleagues, is that we look at the laws as they are. We train our judges and our magistrates, our staff, our law clerks and legal researchers. Then we wait for the amendments to the laws that come on almost 2 months to the elections, and then we have to retrain them again. This is why we are asking for early review of the laws so that we do not have to go over this, train, retrain, or untrain. This committee did all that with a probe. They did a bench book and a case digests and successfully carried out the debriefs in a timely manner. The debriefs, we look at the challenges we went through and where we did not do well, how we can do it better in the next cycle. So for all this work that you have done, the committee, the outgoing committee, what I want to tell you is that your contribution is firmly etched in the annals of our institutional legacy, and we are forever grateful to you. So as we launch our new plan for 2025 to 2029, I want to reaffirm, like other speakers have said, our unwavering commitment to strengthening the architecture of electoral justice in Kenya. The plan we have serves not only as a roadmap for our preparedness towards the 2027 general elections, but also as a blueprint for how Judiciary will continue to defend the integrity of the electoral process, the independence of the judiciary, and to foster public confidence in judicial adjudication of electoral disputes. The judiciary has traversed a commendable journey since the dark days when electoral disputes eroded public confidence in our institutions. And Justice Ibrahim, you have done well to take us through how the committee has worked from the working committee.
Now, away from that, we're going to take you to Maendeleo House, where the Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization, led by various leaders, including Zipporah Kitonyi, are eulogizing the first member of parliament for Karachuonyo, that is Dr. Sio. Let's take you there. Listen in.
Dear befallen first chairman to face the Mzungu. You have seen the board. The Mrs. Picha was from a very prominent family, but she took on. How she got there, it's a mystery. So I think she was very courageous, very focused, and very thoughtful. Because to be able to take up the mantle in 58, some of us who were born around 30-something and 40s, we never had education to that level. But she ventured, and she dared the white person, and she took up this office. So I want to thank Mama Sio and her family for allowing her to support initiatives of Kenyan women in leadership. Kenya is what it is now because of Mama Phoebe Sio. May God rest. Before we go here, to have a message from PAWO, the Pan-African Women Parliament, sent from the head office where she served.
The chair happens to be somebody I call young sister. Thank you for inviting me here. What an honor for me. You can see my gray hair, but I'm seated. Respect. I felt very young.
Now, away from that, a proposal to set up a branch of the Kenya Institute of Highways and Building Technology in Marsabit County is sparking optimism among leaders, residents, and development stakeholders who say this will be a major boost for the region's infrastructure and youth empowerment. During inauguration of the site for the campus at Turbi in North Hawk constituency, the institute's director Geoffrey Githiri observed that the institution will open up the region for major economic growth. Youth in the region have been urged to take advantage of the job opportunities immediately construction works begin and get the requisite skills in building technology.
Tunataka zile nyingi zitajengwa ambazo zitazidi hii na zingine. Watu wa hapa wakuwe ndio naandikwa kuwa mainjinia, waandikwe kuwa matechnologist.
We are not targeting the community of Turbi alone. This is a Kenyan campus. We are targeting all the neighboring counties like Wajir, Isiolo, Mandera, na Samburu.
Students from the far end northern part of Kenya still, they have good access to the services rendered here.
And our police in Maguni Village in Kiambu County have seized marijuana worth 108,000 Kenyan shillings. The main suspect, a 20-year-old woman, was arrested while allegedly distributing the narcotic. Her mother is also in custody for further questioning. Said the Antinarcotics Team operation is ongoing in the area and warned that anyone found dealing or using drugs will face legal action. Residents have also raised concerns over rising drug use and abuse among youth. Police are also urging the public to report drug dealers to help end the illegal trade.
Kwa misokoto tumepata 1,767. Vile vile tumepata makaratasi ambayo inatumika kuroll ile bangi, mabesheni ambayo pia huwa yanawekwa hiyo bangi, magunia, na vile vile tukapata hata bangi nyingine ambayo haikuwa imeroliwa takribani kilo 100.3.
Na tumeweza kuja kwa eneo hii na kwa hiyo nyumba tulikuwa tumeelezewa na tukapata msichana moja ambaye alikuwa anauzanga hiyo bangi. Tumeweza kupata rules kama 2,000 na tumeshika hiyo mama, hiyo msichana, na saa hii ndio tunataka kupeleka police station ya Kiambu ili achukuliwe hatua.
Lakini hao wakiletwa na huku badala ya kusoma ni kuendelea maneno ya bagi, pombe na vile msasi anajikaza akitafuta hizo pesa.
Our Coast Region Students Union Presidents David Msongari and Kahindi James have pledged to collaborate with organizations working to curb drug and substance abuse among the youth. The student leaders spoke during a youth forum in Malindi, Kilifi County, where they raised the alarm on the rising number of young people engaging in the vice.
Kilifi ina namba kubwa ya vijana ambao wameathirika na janga la mihadarati. Tukifuata takwimu za NACADA ambalo ni taasisi inayotoa stakabadhi inayoonyesha athiriko hili la mihadarati.
Na tukaona ni vizuri tulichukulia hili jambo la kuhamasisha vijana dhidi ya mihadarati, madhara ya mihadarati na mbinu za kujikinga na mihadarati. Na labda kama umeanza kutumia ni vipi utaacha.
Lakini akuwa umeanza muitikie county governments na national governments ziwapeleke rehabilitation centers muweze kupewa treatment for free.
And a family from Githunguri in Kiambu County is requesting for financial aid to cater for the interment of their kin whose body is currently being held at Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Mortuary due to the accumulated hospital bill amounting to 1.7 million shillings. The family says they have exhausted all their resources on their kin's treatment, Geoffrey Njuguna, and are now turning to well-wishers to raise the required amount. This and more in our county news roundup.
able to raise 1.7 million shillings to offset a hospital bill that has accrued at Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital after his demise. The body of the deceased is being held at the facility's morgue and are unable to bury him due to lack of resources to facilitate the process.
Kifika ni mwili kureceive the components za mwili zina rejectiwa zote. Sasa tukaambiwa tumejaribu sana na tuendelee bado kujaribu, but imefika to a point of hawawezi sema kitu. Kuenda tukapata baba yetu, Mungu amemchukua.
To help the family, well-wishers can send their contributions via paybill number 8053751, account number Geoffrey Njuguna, or via M-Pesa number 0725174580, name Lucy Njuguna.
Hapo mbeleni haikuwa poa. Gari zilikuwa zinafinyana hapo, imejaa mashimo. Sasa mheshimiwa wetu wa Matangi hiyo maneno wakaangalia na ametutengenezea stage.
Elsewhere, 40 students from Kericho and Bomet counties have received a full scholarship from an ungovernmental organization totaling 8.7 million shillings to pursue their education in Belgut and Konoin Technical and Vocational Education Training Institutes.
Our financial and technical support has enabled the trust to invest significantly in education from scholarships.
Meanwhile, farmers in Kericho County have received a major boost following the development and distribution of at least 400,000 mosquito bug resistant tea seedlings courtesy of Tea Research Institute.
Tea seedlings which the government have invested so that they are given to farmers of tea to really address the issue of the problem the tea sector is facing.
And more than 1,000 households in Kabodho Nyakat sub-county in Kisumu County have benefited from a last-mile water project donated by a philanthropist.
Our women have been waking up at 3 a.m. to go and fetch water, which is normally very dangerous, especially areas like Nyakach where cattle rustling is a problem.
Finally, calls to subdivide Bobasi constituency in Kisii County ahead of the next general elections are gaining traction, with a cross-section of leaders urging the electoral body to fast-track the proposal.
We find out that there are so many schools and we are not getting enough development in the ground. Schools have not been constructed the way we should construct them because it's so big.
A section of religious leaders has called on parents to instill good values in the children instead of leaving all the responsibilities solely to the teachers. Speaking during a prayer service for Form 4 candidates at Metetei Boys National School in Tinderet, Nandi County, Pastor Gilbert Cheruiyot from Africa Inland Church in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, warned that if the younger generation is not properly guided, managing them in the future will be difficult. He urged the youth to avoid engaging in destructive demonstrations and instead embrace dialogue and peaceful expression of their concerns.
Need to go back to the basics, and also as a rule that they should not only teach respect but also bring the children up in the correct values of discipline. Also let us give them hope, because they look desperate, yet I know their future is better and it's going to be bright. They are the leaders not only of today but also of tomorrow. So we urge also the government to listen to them.
Kwa hivyo vijana msione Kenya peke yake, muangalie even beyond, so that the game might change even more. Kwa hivyo wale mnasikia wanatapeliwa ni wale ambao hawataka kutumia zile njia serikali imeweka. Najua wakina wazazi mko na vijana wanataka kwenda hizo kazi. Tafadhali hakikisha umevisit website ya National Employment Authority. Uangalie kama ile agency unatumia imekuwa registered au la.
That story takes us to a very short break, but don't go too far. So much still coming your way.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here, and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. From the first whistle to the last goal, let us cheer loud and proud. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya all the way.
Ninaota ama niko sangu?
Unataka kulia?
Mazibira na ezibu wa mama gaji.
Hiyo mbele radio.
Mbona wewe uko hoi?
Kukango netomoshina.
Tani kusho.
Mimi party, sasa lazima niwaonyeshe.
Pali nafike na kuwa mengi sumu.
Hii nini? Ilikuwa hapa ndio ilikuwa imepotea.
Mama Kayai.
Wewe.
Kwenda huko bwana. Wewe shughulika yako wewe mama wewe.
Wewe inaonekana hauelewi ile kitu ilikuleta hapa.
Mimi ndio boss hapa siku ya leo. Wewe sikaa kwa kiti na mimi.
And Lamin Camara with his first career goal.
Ni muda wa kuhesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa Chan 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome back. You're watching Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1. My name is Giverson, Maina. Of course, our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshe. It's time for business, time to make sense of the shilling. And we take you straight to international front, where oil prices have slightly dropped as traders assess the impact of new European sanctions on Russian oil supplies. Well, they also worry about tariffs possibly weakening fuel demand as Middle East producers are raising output. Details of these and more in news from around the globe.
Brent crude futures dropped 10 cents to 69.18 cents a barrel by 6:55 GMT after settling 0.35% lower on Friday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at 67.33 cents a barrel. U.S. tariffs on European Union imports are set to kick in on August the 1st, although the United States could secure a trade deal with the bloc, according to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Meanwhile, China saw an 11.7% increase in new foreign invested enterprises during the first half of 2025, according to official data. This growth highlights the nation's continued appeal for foreign capital, particularly in high-tech sectors like e-commerce, pharmaceuticals and aerospace manufacturing. However, actual foreign direct investment in the same period dropped by 15.2% year-on-year, totaling 423.23 billion yuan, as reported by the Ministry of Commerce. The manufacturing sector saw 109.06 billion yuan in investment, with high-tech industries drawing 127.87 billion yuan. The service sector attracted 305.87 billion yuan, boosted by a remarkable 127.1% year-on-year surge in e-commerce services. Finally, Brazilian livestock industry experts have warned that U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed 50% tariff on all Brazilian exports, set to begin August first would disproportionately affect American consumers. According to Mauricio Veloso, president of the Brazilian National Confined Livestock Association, Brazilian beef is essential to American markets because the current U.S. cattle population cannot meet domestic demand.
Now it's time for our interactive segment where we're having an interview on matters STEM and of course education. And this year, grade 9 learners are expected to select any of the 3 academic pathways. The first one is STEM, of course, that is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, social sciences, and of course arts and sports science under the competency-based curriculum CBC. And of course, we focus on these expected to pursue STEM courses. The key question is now, or rather how learners, teachers and parents are equipped for the transition. And joining us in our studio for this discussion is Vanessa Inziani, who is the head of programs and partnerships at the Young Scientist Kenya. Welcome so much, Vanessa Inziani, for making time for us.
Thank you, Giverson.
And to start off, where should grade 9 learners select to pursue STEM courses? Why is this important for the young learners?
Yeah, so I believe that as Kenya shifts towards a knowledge-based economy, it will be important for us to have grade 9 learners as well as just the whole generation shift towards STEM courses. And this is just to help them become problem solvers, for them to become innovators and entrepreneurs in itself. Because as much as we focus more on university level for innovators, or for just where we can get young people to be able to shift the situation of our economy, it can start as early as the teenagers, as early as the younger students, because that is where you start getting your idea, you start getting your big vision of how you may want to live life. Yeah. And as much as everyone is now focusing more on just looking for a job, an 8 to 5, we need to start looking at the mindset whereby we can create jobs for ourselves, even as a country, especially now that we have more people graduating but not getting jobs. And I think that gap in itself is where we can start equipping young people for them to move the country forward.
And how do you get the young learners to select STEM courses? How do you get them to, how do you encourage them to pursue that line?
Yeah, so I think the gap in itself at this point is that there's not much exposure, especially for those in the rural countries. They might not have access to infrastructure or even the internet. So for them to know what some of these careers entail is where the problem could be. Yeah. So as much as we want to transition, it will be a good thing for us to include mentorship as well, which I believe is everything. So that now the teachers and the parents can be able to guide the young students on how they can be able to get into these careers. What this means, and it's what some institutions like ourselves at Young Scientist Kenya are doing, is providing this career guidance and mentorship for them to know what is available and what they can be able to do. I'm sure before you got yourself in that seat, you did not, maybe you had not known what you can be able to do in media. Yeah. So I think most people just believe it's the camera person, or if it's yourself reporting, they don't know what it takes to be in studio. For example, whoever is leading us from I think the person you've been discussing, I don't know what space that is, but I think as they get more information on what is actually in these STEM careers, they can now be able to make better decisions for themselves.
This is going to be very huge in terms of education system in Kenya. It's the first time it's happening.
Yes.
Where, you know, learners go this way to STEM, others will go the arts direction. It's the first time. Maybe it's been happening in other countries, but for us here, it's the first time. Do you think the country is, is ready for this? Do you think the teachers are trained for this? The tutors, are they ready for this?
I think for the tutors, as much as we've seen a lot of news around how some of them are not ready or not equipped, I think what we can do as a country, and I believe CBC is not only government oriented, I think it's a national movement, and it requires all of us, both public and private institutions, to come together to just support this. And what we can do for teachers and tutors together is how we can equip them with some of these skills, how we can train them, how they can get access to some of these materials. For public and private institutions, they can offer trips, say, to their job places for job shadows, or for just for the students to understand what it means to be in some of these spaces. I think as we are able to expose some of these young people into what it means to get into some of these careers, and I think it will equip some of them and just motivate them to be able to want to take up STEM as a career pathway.
And your organization, such as Young Scientists Kenya, and even other organizations like yourself, how are you playing out? How are you helping, in this kind of transition? What is your role here?
Okay, so for Young Scientists Kenya, what we're trying to do is to see how we can get teachers equipped. So we have some programs on artificial intelligence for teachers, just for them to understand what the basics of that is. We have programs for coding, so we can see how we can equip students from even the marginalized areas in the country, what they can be able to do. We're big on inclusivity, so also special needs schools are also being trained on the same. We have an innovation program that we run whereby students can think outside the box. So in Kenya, what problems are we facing? How can we be able to get a solution to some of the problems we face, even in our own Ushago areas, for people just to know that we can be able to do this together. We also have partnerships that we work with partners who can help in giving students sometimes scholarships to pursue these STEM courses, so that even after they finish their education, they can be able to see what is next and not feel left out. And of course, this just helps with ensuring that the out-of-school youth can get some sort of motivation towards continuing with their lives.
If new organizations wanted to come in today to help, this kind of transition, to help the young learners decide whatever they want to become, whatever road they want to pursue, how do they come in?
So for partners, it's quite easy. We have a lot of areas where we can be able to work with these partners. Some can support us financially, others do that in kind. So in case you don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to be able to support to do the program on your own, we can come in and help with that implementation. So we can talk about like the coding programs or any other program that you feel would suit the teachers. We're also trying to ensure that with government as well, we are in line with whatever means and processes that they have put in place, just to ensure that we are moving together towards the 60% pick-up rate of the STEM courses. Additionally, if we can be able to equip a lot of schools do not have computer labs or do not have science labs. So if you can be able to help some of these schools to just get some of this equipment in, and then just to also train their teachers so that everyone can be ready and prepared for what is coming. I know in the past, speak for myself and those older than me, we are used to a textbook sort of setup. So you learn on the textbook and that is what you believe should be able to continue. But I think the younger ones are lucky because they get to put in practical hands-on learning, in that what you learn in the book, you can also be able to put it in place. So now it will be a bit practical and they'll be able to move forward. So with Young Scientists Kenya, I believe as we continue to grow, I think so far we've impacted about 250,000 students. So with more partners on board, I'm sure we can be able to reach more and more schools across the country.
Are there innovations that you've come across with, amongst the young learners you've interacted with?
Yes. So I think for the past 8 years, as we've been running the program, every year we normally hold a competition, and from the competition we've had some winners and some students who've been able to come out of it. We have students who have come up with their own CBOs, so they're currently leading in their communities on just ensuring that they can empower the girls or those who are coming from marginalized communities. We have those who have come up with what do we call this? Products that can be able to assist those with special needs. So we have one who has a robotic arm. We also have those who've come up with a system to see how we can reduce on fake news and cyber crimes. So it's just young people coming up with their own startups and how they can be able to just move forward and help the whole country move together.
And how can public and of course maybe private institutions help these young innovators to patent their own inventions and of course to commercialize them? Yeah,
so as mentioned, a lot of people believe commercialization is more around university level, and ideally some of these big ideas come from as early as high school and junior secondary school. So for partners, it will just be to ensure that the students have a place where they can be able to grow, so innovation hubs. We also have a situation whereby we can have the young people supported through IP protection. We're lucky enough to have a partnership with KBC, who give us winning students free IP protection, given that their product or their ideas are new and can be able to be protected. With that, but we still need more people who can be able to support them. For example, with Kekobo, with the copyright, and just I would believe a national outreach on what it means to actually protect your ideas.
Yeah, because some of the interventions or innovations have been stolen away by people.
Yes.
And maybe how does the National Science and Technology Exhibition support innovation in Kenya?
So
briefly.
So with that, we try to see how we can give young people a platform to be able to showcase their innovations. We have guests from across the country, from both government, from international areas, and we just give them a week to be able to present their ideas. So with this, we also have parents coming, members of the public, so you can just be able to support your young ones as they come up with their ideas. And of course, they have a couple of awards that they win, so as it is competitive, they also try to see how they can learn from each other what they can do, because a project from Mandera would not be the same as a project from, say, Nairobi town, which is a metropolitan. So when they all come together just for you to see how they interact, it's a good platform. And I think I'd advise anyone who's free during that week from the 5th to the 9th of August, you'll find us at Sunshine Schools, and you'll be able to interact with the students as they come up with their innovations.
You know, in your interactions, you know, the Gen Zs, the millennials, now we have the Gen Alpha.
Yes.
How has been the rate of absorption on STEM courses, AI? Do they like it?
And
what is the difference between, you know, these generations? How are they taking it?
Yeah, so I think the biggest, or rather most intriguing bit is these different generations have had a different outlook or different life. So in their education systems, one, in their historical content, in their technological innovations during that time. So I can say for millennials and maybe baby boomers, for example, that is when they were just getting introduced to phones. For Gen Zs, and I think the lower end of the millennials and Gen Alphas, technology now is something that they live and breathe. So I think with all of these generations coming together, I think it gives a lot of opportunities for young people, because now everything is integrated with technology. So you can't just have, like for yourselves, I'm sure this is also running online. So it means that everyone is trying to align themselves with what is currently running digitally in the world. So the rate of absorption, currently in the country, I think we'll be able to get this data as we get the first level of grade 9 learners picking their subjects. But however, if we look at what's happening around the world, it's still slow because most people still are not as conversant with what STEM is and what it really means to get into a STEM background. However, I think in the country, since you've said it now, I think it will bring good tidings to us and how we can be able to move together as a country.
And lastly, there's going to be, you know, very huge difficulties or challenges in the transition, especially in the schools in the north, schools in Turkana, in Maina, where there's no electricity in some of these schools. They don't have good classes, they don't have equipment, you know. It's going to be very difficult for this, for the transition. For those young learners outside there, how are they going to face it?
That's a good question, and I believe that it will need a lot of Kenyans for Kenya. So we do have those who are really left behind in the marginalized areas. We personally have Leave No Learner Behind at Young Scientists Kenya, which aims to really reach those who have been left in those far areas. I've seen parts of government trying to really ensure that they are included in majority of the programs that's possible. However, it will only mean that we can move together as a community if we come together. So what I mean by this is, like you've said, they don't have electricity. So some of the content is readily available online, just to give an offline perspective for them. If we can be able to equip their teachers so that they're also a step ahead as everyone else, so they can be able to ensure their students also get there. I think one of the most eye-opening moments for me was when we got a student from Mandera who came, and they were amazed that we have the expressway. And, you know, we're trying to explain to them that this is something, they're seeing it for the first time. So I think they're used to seeing it on their phone only, but, you know, when you actually see some things, it becomes real for them. So I think a lot of exposure for some of these students, a lot of equipping their teachers as well, so that they're also as knowledgeable. I think we have Gen Zs who, when they feel you're not as informed as them, they don't seem to respect you. So it will be good for us to ensure that our teachers, our tutors are as informed as the Gen Zs, or even more, so that now they can be on the same level and we can be able to have the teachers on the front run for this.
Your closing remarks. We've run out of time.
No problem. So I think just to close, just to thank you again for having me here and having Young Scientists Kenya. We are happy to be supporting in ensuring that we can get STEM out there to support the parents and to support the teachers in how they can be able to support the young ones in choosing their STEM career pathways. And of course, lastly, in August from the 5th to 9th, please join us at Sunshine Schools. We'll be having an exhibition for the whole week. You can come interact with learners, you can come interact with people who are supporting young people, and you can be able to learn something. So it's open for everyone, it's free, and I hope to see you there, Giverson.
I'll try my best. Vanessa Inziani talking to us on matters of transition concerning the grade 9 learners who expected to select any of the 3 academic pathways. Some of the learners, maybe they'll head to the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Others will have the option to go the social sciences way, and of course others will have to go the arts, sports, science under the KBC. And of course, Vanessa, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, Giverson.
And we take a short commercial break so that next we come with sports. It's still time for business, and we take you to Zambia's economy is steadily recovering from last year's drought and years of debt restructuring, with growth projected to climb to 6.4% in 2026, up from 5.8% this year. According to the Finance Ministry's latest projections, GDP growth is forecast to reach 6.5% in 2027 and 5.1% in 2028. Details of these and more in news from across the African continent.
The Zambian government is shifting toward more solar power after drought sharply cut hydropower and heat industry. Copper output is projected to top 1 million tons next year and build to 1.2 million in 2027 and 1.3 million plus in 2028, as President Hichilema pushes toward the 1 million ton mark this year on strong first quarter results. Meanwhile, finance ministers and central bank governors from the world's largest economies included a pivotal G20 meeting in Durban, South Africa, with a landmark declaration pledging enhanced international policy coordination. The gathering, which comes amid rising global tensions and just weeks before new U.S. tariffs are set to take effect, emphasized multilateral cooperation, global debt relief, and increased climate financing. Finally, BHP Group has agreed to sell its 17% stake in Tanzania's $2.5 billion Kabanga nickel project to partner Lifezone Metals for up to $83 million. Lifezone says the project, expected to produce 50,000 metric tons of nickel annually, will take 6 months to complete, with a final investment decision set for next year. Sylvia Gatti reporting for Lunchtime News.
Sporty, the national soccer team Harambee Stars has withdrawn from Sekafa 4 Nations tournament scheduled to begin today in Karatu, Arusha in Tanzania. In a statement, the Football Kenya Federation FKF said the decision was made following recommendations and advice from the team's technical bench led by head coach Benny McCarthy. The Federation explained that after a thorough assessment of the prevailing conditions, it was deemed unsuitable for the team's participation and preparations ahead of the upcoming African Nations Championship, CHAN. The team, which had already arrived in Arusha, is now expected to return home to continue its CHAN preparations. Harambee Stars were initially scheduled to face Uganda in the opening match this evening. The tournament will now proceed with 3 teams, including host Tanzania, Uganda, and guest side Senegal. Now, other matters, Oliver Solberg followed in the footsteps of his world champion father, Peter, claiming a stunning maiden FIA World Rally Championship victory at Delphi Rally, Estonia on Sunday evening. The 23-year-old Swede stunned the WRC elite, sealing his breakthrough win on debut in a Toyota GR Yaris Rally 1 nearly 20 years after Peter's final WRC success in 2005. He was 25.2 seconds faster than the local hero and 2019 world champion Ott Tanak, who finished second, while Thierry Neuville settled for third position, 23.1 seconds behind Tanak. The WRC now heads to round 9 in sector. Let's listen in.
Maturity, but the Belgian had his own issues to contend with. Dust on the second made its way into the cockpit, which ultimately cost him and co-driver Martin Vediger and the 23-year-old roll back the years and put a Swedish flag on the top step of the just 13 seconds behind with 2 stages to go. Last trial.
Here we go.
It's
then.
unbelievable.
2.5 years since the last Rally 1
WRC marks the end of our lunchtime news on KBC for now. My name is Giverson, Maina. Of course, our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi. On behalf of everybody who made this newscast possible, thank you. And we say so many thanks for watching. See you and bye-bye.
Kwanza saizi ndio unampa motisha ya kupigana na wewe kabisa.
I've met a lot of men like Mark who just bark and can never bite.
Said leave. I want to be alone.
You tumia chakula.
Kufanya nini? Sielewi.
Na si umesema dad ni kama amerogwa na kama you tumia chakula.
Would you like somebody who killed your own mother? Fiona, who told you that?
Kama uko tayari, wakati utakuwa tayari, utanitafuta na mimi nitakupa majibu ya kila swali unalo.
Liwa mtoto wetu Joyce ndio wachiwe hii nyumba. Wewe angalia uone.